My name is Robert Tanner, and I was at Hickam Field in Hawaii on the 7th December 1941 when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, unbeknownst to us. We had been on alert up until the day before, the 6th of, noon the 6th of December. We went off of alert that we had been on. And for a month, or more than a month, I didn't know how long, because I had just got back from the Philippines from ferrying some planes over there. And we put all our gear away on Sound Friday and so forth. And naturally, we're getting ready to go on the world Sunday. And I was standing on the edge of the outside of the barracks, waiting for a couple of my buddies to come in, because I was going to celebrate my birthday, which was on the 5th of December. I couldn't celebrate because I was on alert. And I was standing there, and all of a sudden I heard the roar of an aircraft engine, and I made one step down on and turned, and got a Zero coming at me. And I said, I know I said it out loud, but probably nobody heard me, "Damn Navy, pulling an Uber on Sunday morning again like they used to do on us." At Hickam Field, we were Hickam Field right across from Pearl Harbor. We were a defense for Pearl Harbor. And I looked up, and that Zero was coming in. He had dropped a bomb, and it hit the top of the barracks in the third floor through the window, and even went down and through the floors and blew on the first floor. The concussion come out the door of the barracks when I was standing right there, and it blew me right off the three steps of the barracks out onto the lawn, out on the lawn and so forth. About 30 feet out there, I stopped sliding. I had my Vinegar Joe hat, Boy Scout hat on, the way big Vinegar Joe hat, we called him at that time, because of Joe Stillwell. General Stillwell loved it so much. And I never found it to this day, by the way. I lost my hat. and I was so lucky that the concussion knocked me down. And the Zero was strafing at the same time, came through, and you can see the bullets on the barracks wall today. They're still there. They never took them off. Where I was standing, if I was standing, I'd had the whole blast as he went through. And I come to, I was out for, I don't know, probably a minute or so. I don't know, not too long anyway. And and I glanced over, and I saw a body on the ground near a great big trash receptacle. They were made of wood, just like the metal out there now, but this was wood. And I guess he was running to that to get in it for something, but he had been machine gunned right across. I think the same ones that missed me, come him. He was machine gunned right across, got almost in two pieces. Yeah. But I got up and run around, went to operations. All of us were there, needed to be there, a lot of us. Anyway, well, we formed teams of 4 and went out to the field during the first and second raid to get the wounded that were all on the parade ground. They had run out from the barracks onto the parade ground. They were all out there. We went through that area and everything, and got the guys in ambulances and so forth to get them out of there, wounded and so forth. And I went back to operations, and standing in front of operations, the second attack came in, and there was a great big boom, and I turned toward Pearl Harbor. I was facing the port, the entrance to Pearl Harbor, and I turned back to Pearl Harbor, and all I saw was a great big ball of fire up in the air, and it was the Arizona that blew. And I think the ship was up in the air, for all I know, from what I know, when it was, because it broke in two when it went back down. And the ground shook so badly that I couldn't hardly keep my balance. I damn near went over. But then after that, we did the Recovery Act, all those, and then at about 2:30 in the afternoon, 2:15, I guess, I finally got over to the hospital tent. The hospital had been bombed out. And they had put up a tent and everything, and walked in, and fortunately one of the corpsmen was there, the sergeant, who was from the flight surgeon's office, and I worked with the flight surgeons all the while, because I was clearing the flight surgeons for flying time. And after that, naturally I went back to, my plane was bombed up. It was all pieces burned up. It was caught fire and everything. And we were getting the things together. From there on out, we worked getting planes together. I got some more. They brought some more planes in from the United States. If you can remember the story, there was 12 planes coming into the United States, that the B-17s coming in for 12 of them. 4 was for Hickam, and 8 of them for Philippines. And they were coming in. They had crashed. Some of them landed up in the airfield in the northern part of the island. The others one, the famous one, is landed at Hickam, and he got hit. Something, shrapnel or a bullet went through the plane and hit the flare box, caught the plane on fire, and the plane split in two, and the wings and the 2 engines are going down the runway, and the tail is back here. The whole tail assembly is back here. So we knew what was happening, because we were getting blown off almost off the damn earth, as you want to call it that. But it was, we'd been trained, and it was more than a recovery, and getting it back in order to operate, because we had no planes that would fly after that. We had no planes that could take in the air after the raids, after the 2 raids. So we had to get the equipment together, fix the planes that we could fix, get them in flying operation. As a matter of fact, the first plane off of Hickam that had been on Hickam never got in the air to the second day after Pearl Harbor. The Navy had some in the air because they were at Fort Island. But we had, all we're doing was recovery, getting, as we say, back to so-called normal. Just getting the aircraft in shape. We had B-17s that was, B-18s that would still fly. Well, we've repaired, and so forth, everything, and we only had 2 B-17s that was fireable by then, until we got some parts back from the States and so forth. It took all of December and practically January to get all that stuff done, all together, and they're getting back into operational situation. Other than that, it was just routine maintenance. And I had taken over the aircraft engine repair school at Hickam, and we graduated our last class on the 5th of June of 1940. Hell, heck, most of the kids in the high school right now don't even know what Pearl Harbor is today. I asked someone, what Pearl Harbor? Oh yeah, that's an island. That's where you go for vacation. That's all they knew.